What was the strangest rule you had to respect at a friend's house? No one was allowed to swim in the swimming pool because it was only for decoration. Other than that, they were normal parents. No boy talk. Her mom made us keep the intercom on when we were in her bedroom and would listen to us talk. If we started talking about boys, she would chime in and tell us to change the subject. We were 15/16 and not having the privacy to talk about crushes and stuff felt weird. It wasn't really rule of the house, but my friend's parents were huge helicopter parents. Went to a concert with a friend and we had to call, not text, her parents every hour to let them know we were okay. We were 21-20 seconds and I was close friends with the band we were seeing play. A good friend of mine went through a season where he didn't have running water at his house, so the rule in the house was that no one could come over unless they brought a couple gallons of water with them to pour into the toilet in the event that they had to poop. We had to keep our hands above the covers when we went to sleep so they could make sure we weren't doing anything. I was 9. Literally was the last time I spent the night there. Weirdos. No one was allowed to laugh at the dinner table or talk other than to ask, "Please pass the..." No one was allowed to leave the table, even for a potty emergency, until the dad was done eating. We had to finish all the milk in the cereal bowl. Like every drop. But we weren't allowed to pick up the bowl or be noisy. Imagine 3 little kids carefully trying to drink milk from a spoon without slurping or scraping the bowl while one scary AF mom watched us in silence. Several from my childhood best friend's mom, one we had to stay with inside of the house at all times. They lived in the middle of nowhere on 5 or so acres of land. 2 we had to stay in common living areas. The first time I saw my friend's room I was 14. This was because her mom needed to supervise us. We were 11. 3 once I went over to my friend's house to watch movies and have a sleepover. Her mom sat with us the whole time and kept pausing the movies to analyze them with us and only let us pick one. She picked the other 2. After finding out she would be staying in the living room with us for the sleepover, I told her my stomach was upset and I went home early. 4 if we wanted to play a board game, her mom picked. 5 we were not allowed to sit on the couches and had to sit on the floor. There was no reason for this rule, she just didn't want us on the couches because we would wreck them. My friend's dad was a huge egomaniac and super controlling. He basically brainwashed his family into believing that he was a great genius and so he was the king of the family. The big rule was that no one was allowed to open food unless he did it first. Like if a bag of chips was in the pantry, no one could eat any until he decided to open the bag. No one could take a slice of pizza until he did first. Everyone was expected to observe the rule and they acted like it was perfectly normal. My friend had a hall with light switches at each end. If you flipped one switch up to turn the light on, you could flip the other switch up to turn the light off again. It was entirely possible to get the light off with both switches in the up position. This drove my friend's wife nuts, so the rule was that you had to keep both switches down when the lights were off. Often, this meant walking the length of the hall to flip a switch, followed by a return trip, in the dark. Stayed at a friend's house one night and the family communicated exclusively through whispering, not just hushed voices but full on hand to ear. Serious mindfuck. When I was like 8 years old I was playing at a friend's house in his room upstairs. Needed to go to the bathroom so went for a pee in the toilet that was upstairs. His mom heard me from downstairs living room, don't know how. She was probably eavesdrop or something. Was yelled at while peeing that this toilet was not for daytime peeing, nighttime only for some reason. So his mom yelled and demanded the 8-year-old me to stop mid-pee, run downstairs, and finish on the daytime toilet. Never was invited again. Still to this day I don't have a clue what went on there and still have so many unanswered questions. My friend's mom's boyfriend had one of those rooms we weren't allowed in for any reason. Problem was, it was the living room. It was impossible to get to the kitchen without going through that living room. Also couldn't reach the door to the backyard. So I never once entered the kitchen in that house, and any trips to the backyard meant walking out the front door and going through the gate on the side of the house. I had to bring enough meat to feed the house in order to stay overnight. 3 kids, 3 adults and myself. Being a young man, that I had to sit while peeing in their house. And the dad stayed in the bathroom to make sure. Weird.